So I just did a little bit of a jog to see if that thing in the back of my leg is really bad. I hope I didn't tear anything or anything like that. I don't think I did, but I'm getting a little nervous. Hey there. Okay, going for a walk. I was saying that I pulled that thing in the back of my leg. When did I do that? Was it a couple of weeks ago? And I just tried like a short jog. I don't know, maybe around 3 or 4 minutes. And I can feel it there. And it hurts, but see, I'm a nutcase. I jogged a little bit through it. And I'm hoping I didn't tear any. I couldn't have torn something. It wouldn't be like that. If it doesn't go away like in another week, I don't think it's getting worse. You don't normally tear stuff in the back of your knee, right? It's like usually down the front. And I'm just stressing over it. I'm just gonna I'm not gonna stress too much over it. Stressing a little bit over it. I'll see what Jimmy thinks. That would be the last thing. Oh my gosh. To need surgery or something for something torn in my knee. Couldn't be. It's probably just because I keep exercising, and yesterday I was doing squats, and it's probably what it is. Because it's not like having time to heal or whatever, but I think it would get consistently worse if it was like something torn, right? So what's going on? It's a little bit cool today. I'm wearing like a fleece jacket, and it's cool. I mean, like 57, but it's getting cooler now. So we'll see what happens. And I just hope I didn't tear that thing in the back of my leg. I don't think I did. But anyway, we'll see what's going on. So, oh, did you hear the big news? Apparently, 2 channels are down. I'm sure I'll be getting the blame for it. It's never anyone's actions, right? It's never the actions of any one person. So crazy. Oh, just crazy. It's hard for me to see the chat. Let me see. More to come. Yes, they're already blaming you over there. They're blaming me. Well, good for them. We haven't even been concerned with them. Whatever happened to them through their own actions. That's just too bad, you know. She always said she could do what she wanted. And whatever. We get the blame for everything anyway. People told me a few days ago, they showed me comments where they were blaming me for, giving somebody journals or something in her comments. Yeah, right, okay. Yeah, that was me. Whatever. Whatever. Anyway, so what else is new? Tote trial. Let's talk about real stuff and not imbeciles. Tote trial. Been watching it. What was interesting today, I have the crime scene photos. We'll go over them tonight. Beyond the crime scene photos, there was the 911 call. It really was nothing. Just gave you the timeline that his sister, Chrissy, was calling. And she called on the 29th of December, and she called again in the beginning of January. And then they had the police cam. Oh, they had the most horrible police cam. It was like, it would go pixelated. Did you guys watch it? It was pixelated. The house was dark. And who's that up there? Who's that? I hear something in the woods. Oh, chipmunks again. Squirrels, chipmunks. Anyway, the sister basically said, I haven't heard from my brother. I haven't heard from my sister-in-law since December 26th, which I can't understand because when they were looking at the photos, there were so many kids' toys in Amazon boxes as if they didn't even celebrate Christmas. I also noticed that there was not a tree up or anything like that in the house that I saw, which is weird. And what was he, like, taking everything down, or they just never put it up? I don't know. But there were toys in Amazon boxes, and then there were, like, wrapped presents in Amazon boxes. So it's really weird because if she heard from her sister-in-law on the 26th, well then maybe it wasn't her sister-in-law if it was through a text. Perhaps everybody was already gone before. Oh, there's the newts again. Hi, Mr. Newts. You always see them around this time. I think it's because it's before the bass wake up. When we were little, they used to be all over. But, oh gosh, I just heard a bell ring. Did you just hear a bell ring? What the heck was that? A bell rang. I don't know where. Did you guys hear a bell ring? Hi, Betsy. Oh yeah, Lori Vallow. I have the newt. Lori Vallow, that we got news on that too today. She's competent to stand trial at April 19th. Everything's happening now. Everything. It's feast or famine with these trials. Well, we have Anthony Tote. We also have Nancy Brophy going on at the same time. Now we have the hearing coming up for Lori Vallow. And then, don't forget, we're supposed to have Morphew go to trial April 28th. This is crazy, isn't it? It is. It's been feast or famine. It's like everything comes at once. And then, if you watch Tote, that means I have to fast forward through Brophy, and it's exhausting. But anyway, so Tote, let me get back to that. I'll go over Tote in full tonight with the crime scene photos, and I'll go over Brophy too, and I'll go over Lori Vallow. But just my own things from watching it. So I think that maybe he was texting for her. I don't think those kids ever even saw Christmas. It was very weird. I'm sure we'll hear more into what they think happened. But then they had the officers from the sheriff's department that came up and they were in the house. They showed a little bit of the police cam, but it was very hard to see. And I was very surprised. We saw very, very little of Anthony in that police cam because of the angle. We were seeing mostly them upstairs and he was coming down the stairs, and that's what his defense team was saying. Wasn't he wobbly? Didn't he need assistance? You know, he was, but then the prosecution kept redirecting, saying, was he the only one in the house alive? Was he awake? Yes, that was it. So they had the two 911 people in from the sheriff's office that took the two calls. They played the two calls. They had the officer Bose, I think he's the one that took the crimes. No, they had Phelps in, Michael Phelps. They had the other one in. One of them took the crime scene photos. They also had Emily in, and she was a forensics investigator. So she was in there talking about the fingerprints on the Benadryl bottles being Anthony's. What else? They just showed trash with a bunch of the Benadryl bottles. Like I said, they showed the kids' toys. They said that when they went to the house, he was on the porch. Then he got up and went inside. And when they got there, there were two cell phones on the little table outside. One was outside of its case, so it looked like three cell phones, but it was only two. And what else? They showed a little bit of that police cam. They said that at first they couldn't find Zoe. They didn't know where she was. And when they asked him, he said, I think maybe she's at a sleepover. But they found her. She was at the foot of the bed that the mother was on, underneath a bunch of blankets. The dog was underneath a bunch of blankets under an end table, and the boys were on two mattresses, and they were really badly decomposing, and the smell was horrific. And he was actually, they said, staying in the bedroom with them. He was staying in the bedroom with them. I don't know. Apparently, he sat with the little girl a while and then he rolled over on her and smothered her, suffocated her. And then he had the boys, they shared a room, but he had one on the, sleeping in the family room or something. And he was worried about Tyler, and that's the 11-year-old, because he was the fastest or something, and he felt that if he botched something up and Tyler got away, that would be the worst. So I believe it was Tyler that he killed in the bedroom by suffocating them and then stabbing them. And then he killed Alec downstairs, and he must have killed her first, right? But yeah, crazy, just crazy. So that was like, the police cam and the photos were about it for today. That was nothing other than that. That was anything like earth-shattering. I have to go over Brophy still. Oh, it's a cardinal. Yeah, that's a cardinal. I heard him in a while. What else? Lori Val the 19th. Today's the 11th. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this weekend's Easter. I've got to get home and color my hair. I have to do my hair. It is horrendous. There's another little cabin over there under the trees. What else? What else? So yeah, Anthony Tote. It is on Law and Crime. And those of you that wanted to watch Brophy, it's not on Law and Crime. It is on Court TV, but it's also on like KRW or something like that. That's on YouTube if you don't have Court TV. I think it's easy. They're both guilty, I mean, in my opinion. I don't really think it's a hard decision. Even though they can't introduce his confession because he was under the influence of Benadryl and his Miranda rights were not given to him the right way and at the right time and while he was under the influence and stuff. Even with his new confession, I think they can see it's all a bunch of BS, okay? I don't think there'll be any trouble convicting him. And I mean, his story is just so outrageous, okay? About the wife doing it and then asking him to kill her and stuff. Yeah, come on. Come on. They would say, you know, why didn't you call for help? Why didn't you call for help? Come on. Yeah, it's a bunch of crap. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any trouble in those two. And then you've got the news of Lori being restored to competency. So that'll be April 19th at 1 p.m. Be a hearing. Let's see. And then we've got Morphew that's ready to start April 28th. But I'm thinking that's going to be continued. I don't know. I don't see how that's going to start. I know it seems it is, you know, going on 2 years since she was missing, but he was only arrested last May, so it seems like it's soon. But because when you think of like Letitia Stout and everything, how that's being put off until what, like September or so? That's one I would like to see go get justice. Yeah, but it's like so weird. But I don't know. The Morphew case, the prosecution got in trouble for not handing over discovery to the defense in time, but they didn't dismiss the case the way he wanted it to, thank goodness. I didn't think that was going to happen anyway, but we'll see what happens if that trial starts on the 28th. Tote trial, I believe, is 3 weeks, or no, Tote trial is 5 weeks. Brophy trial was 3 weeks, but it's in its second week. And Tote trial just started today. And there's another one that some of you are watching about the doctor or something. I haven't followed that one, but I know that jury got instructions today. Yeah, jury got instructions today. I believe that's what they got. So I don't know. They might even have a verdict in it. Who knows? I haven't been following that one, but I know some of you have. Hi, Lucy. Hi, Linda. Hi, Ren. Wow, it's windy here. It was windy here. You can see there's signs that have fallen down on the tree limbs. Crazy. All over. It's crazy all over. Tree limbs. It's cold though. Well, it's not. If the sun would stay out, I don't mean out. You don't really feel it the way you would like to feel it. And there's a chill in the air. I bet you that's Jimmy. Sounds like he turned in the other way. Trying to see if I can see. I don't know. Watch is telling me low battery. Great. Did you hear that screaming? What was that? Too much true crime for me. I hear people getting up. What's going on? Like doors slamming and people screaming. That was so weird that there was like that bell that rung when I was looking in the water. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that video. Sounded like a wind chime or something. Haven't heard from Lisa since yesterday about scheduling my vaccine, so I don't know if she's had any luck. I really don't want to wait too long on that. Anyway, No, I still have more walking to do. Trying to think what else is going on. Last night, what did we do? I'm waiting for another batch of napkins, hoping that they'll be here before Wednesday's auction. I have to get I ordered my tires. They're shipping them to the place that they're going to get installed. Then I've got to bring my car in to be serviced and inspected. That'll be done. That'll be one more thing off my to-do list. Still like too cold to ride my bike right now because my face is freezing, my hands are freezing. I think by tomorrow, well, yeah, then we're going to get a few days. It's going to rain. It's going to be warmer tomorrow. It's going to rain. And then we're going to get hit again, cold, going down to 30s at night still. Can't stand this. Just wish it would be nice already. To be thankful for the days that you can get out and walk without it getting absolutely frigid. In February of 2020 was brutal. So, what else? Jimmy's trying to get some stuff repaired in his truck. He's got to get something with the stereo, something with the gas. There's something with the brakes. There's always something, right? Always something. I should go out and get groceries. I don't know that I'll get that done. I need a wood chipper. So much wood to chip. Dogs. Oh, see, yes, this is them. I don't know what they were doing. It sounded like they were slamming doors and stuff. Let's see. No, thank you. What are you guys doing?
Shit.
I know, but what did you guys? What?
I tried tracking. I ran 1 mile, then I ran a mile. I ran a 1,500 meter, or like basically a mile, and then I ran a 200 meter. I mean 800 meters. It was just 2 laps.
Were you guys slamming doors out there? Like, did you get out of the car? I heard screaming. I heard slamming doors.
No, we got out of the car over there for check out a pine tree that we talking.
Talking to who?
Each other.
Oh.
Why? Would you hear the scream?
That's Spruce Tree.
Honey, down the end this way?
That's Hemlock. That's Hemlock right here. This is Hemlock.
We
have one of these trees at our house, Dad. I climbed up it.
Yeah.
It's like
Get
right,
sap
right
on
there.
you. Be careful. Don't do
No,
that.
no sap, no sap.
Okay.
I climbed all the way up to the top, and the wind scared the
Maybe
crap
it's
out of me.
not have sap. Honey, where'd you hear it? Down that way?
Yeah, it was like, yeah, I know. No, I know it was you.
I'm gonna come down and find you.
No, I know it was you. All right.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'll see you
Oh,
home.
that guy's there. Oh, was there?
Yeah, I'll see you later. See you later, alligator. In a while. Poor kids. They run track until this time, come home, eat, and they literally fall into bed. It's like nuts. And then poor Ethan, he's got track practice almost every day of spring break. What are you gonna do? It's good for you. Switch over to this side now. Oh, now Jimmy's coming by again. Oh, that's not Jimmy. That's some car flying. I don't know who that is. Whatever it is, it's coming by pretty fast. And when I say pretty fast, we have a speed limit on this road. I didn't think it would be Jimmy going 15 miles an hour. I see. Yeah. It's the new people. We're gonna I'll get told a few times when the people are here. People have thrown logs in the street as the cars are coming. It gets brutal up here. One thing you don't do is go fast on this road. That's what I mean about the big rocks that are in this area. That's even a small one. A huge one on the other driveway. Oh my gosh. To play on all the time as kids, like I told you. So, what else? Talked about the tote trail, talked about Goofy, talked about Linda Val, Lori Vallow. Again, later tonight, I'll do the tote trial with the crime scene photos. And did want to get some crafts done too. I was just so tired last night. And then I couldn't fall the freak asleep. I was just going to get up for the day. I could not fall asleep. I was just laying there. Oh, it was ridiculous. And then, I don't know, I got a few hours sleep, but I was so tired last night. Just couldn't get into crafting as much as I wanted to do it. Because I had to do a bunch of prep work. Because I have to paint a bunch of shells and or boxes or whatever I was going to do. And then I wanted to do my box. And I have that thing on for a video by itself too, so it's there as a tutorial. So, I don't know. Just didn't work out. And what else? So anyway, what else? What else is new? Type something up so I can try to see it. Give me a topic, we'll talk on it. I'm sure there's a lot of drama going on right now that, hi, Nicole, your hip and sciatica are so bad. My hip joint has been hurting. I tend to just walk through it. It's so crazy. I'm certain the person had, yes. Well, it's been permanent for others, so I don't know. I don't know, Betsy. What do you think? What do you think? You know, Mrs. Effing didn't come back. I don't know. We'll have to see. Hi, Deborah Van Coverden. Yeah, I hear you, Betsy. When is the for? Oh, Megan. I don't know. It's coming up too. It's coming up too. You're talking about Megan Boswell? Yeah, I believe that's. I don't know, but her trial isn't starting. Right now, we've got enough on the docket right now to even contend with covering correctly. I hate it when they do that, when they don't do anything and then they do everything at the same time. Because I hate like being a slave to a trial. It's a lot of work. And when you got 2 or 3 going on, it's ridiculous. It would have been nice if they would have done this like in the January, February. Now that the weather starts to get nice, this is what happens. That's when the Jones trial went. It was into June of 2019. And that was just nuts. You got to play them on double time speed to try to catch up with everything. I don't know. It's nuts. It's nuts. Go home, try to groom my dogs a little bit. They need baths. Kelty Case never comes by anymore. He promised he was going to wash my dogs. He never does. It's nice to hear the birds. hate, you know why I don't look at the weather? Because I hate knowing that it's going to get really cold again. I hate knowing that. That's why I hardly ever look at the weather, because I remember once being so depressed one winter and I kept saying, well, in April it has to warm up, and I looked at like the 30-day forecast and it was horrible through April. I said, I don't want to do that anymore. That's why I hardly ever look at the weather. Always have dreams about planes crashing on the lake. Always. I've probably had 5 or 6 of them my whole life. That tree was caught by its friend. We found out that Sharon doesn't like Tweety and always wished for Sylvester to eat him. And she always wished for the roadrunner to be caught by the coyote and killed. Well, I don't know if she said killed. But she did say she wished Tweety had been eaten. Is this running again? I had a story to tell. I'll make up a story. This is one of my short stories. Okay, there's this woman, and she lives by herself, and she's a little bit out there, and she likes to buy things and stuff, but she can't really keep a job because she's a little bit nutso. So what she does is her parents passed away, and she got a big inheritance, but her inheritance is in CDs and in stocks and stuff, and she doesn't really want to touch it that much, because she wants to be able to live off of it for the rest of her life. So, all those pine cones. So she has to think of other ways to get some money. You know, she doesn't really need a lot, but she just wants, maybe bring in an extra few $100s a week. And when she inherited this house also from her parents, it was full of antiques, because her mother was a big antique collector, and her father also had a lot of collectibles, highly desirable ones. So what she would do, she would go on Craigslist, and she would take a picture of maybe like a Hoosier cabinet, something highly sought after that could be listed for, $500. Sometimes it was a roll top desk, $1,000. And she would list it in Craigslist, or, whichever, but mostly Craigslist. Sometimes the marketplace, mostly Craigslist. And no, she would never list it in Marketplace. That's right. She didn't want a profile being attached to her. So I didn't mean, I meant, what's that other one? Not You Sell It or Let It Go or something, whatever one. She would list it there. And she would tell them, you got to have a truck to pick it up. And you need cash, blah, 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 blah. And then you have to pick it up so she never have to meet them anywhere. And so they would come to her house. She would tell them it was down in the basement, or she'd tell them sometimes it was out in the shed. It depended. Depended on the time of the year. She lived kind of secluded, didn't have neighbors that could eavesdrop or anything. So a lot of times she told them it was in this big shed barn that she had. And so they would go out with her there, and she would hit them over the head with something. And the only problem was if two people came out, and a lot of times someone did. They did. Because especially if there was something heavy that they had to carry and all that stuff. Yes. So what she did then, sometimes she always had a gun on her, but sometimes she would hit the person on the head and then like whip around and shoot the other one. She didn't like to shoot them because it's bloody, leaves traces of stuff and all that. An ideal thing for her would be to knock them on the head without like breaking the skin and stuff. So that would be like a cleanup for her. And she always had people wondered why she was always buying rugs. She bought rugs all the time. And she bought these rugs because she would wrap the bodies up in the rugs. And a lot of times, if the people had a truck, she would, glove up and everything and drive them in their truck. And she would dump the body somewhere, and then she would like push the truck off a cliff or something, okay? And if anybody ever came to her with the cell phone records and said, this guy was going to your house, she'd say, yeah, great. And she looked very unassuming, okay? She didn't look sinister. In fact, she looked pretty sweet. She would always offer the officers a cup of tea or coffee, and that she had just finished baking cookies, and how she lost her mother and her father, and she was just trying to weed through all of these antiques and collectibles, and people keep standing her up, So she would say that. She would take their cash, of course, whatever jewelry or collectibles that they had on them. Then she would take those and sell them, go into shopping in a town like far from there, maybe a few hours, and just sell them. So anyway, this is what she was doing. And she was getting away with it because she was pretty good, and the police didn't suspect her because, she just looked really unassuming, and she was this poor grieving daughter who was just trying her best to weed through all of these antiques. And they knew that people cancel on Craigslist and all of that stuff that told you they were coming, and they didn't come. So they believed her. And she continued doing this. She didn't do it, like every week. She tried to get the most expensive pieces she could so she could get a lot of money at that time. And like I said, she had money coming in from the stocks and stuff like that. But, for her everyday needs, it was helping her, and she didn't have to go out and work with those crazy people in the offices. She was really, what is this? Helicopter going by now. That's unusual. So she did that for as long as she could. But then, like every good thing, you think you have a great scheme, right? And there's always something that ends up tripping you up. Sometimes And I have to say, she lived out in the middle of nowhere, and the police force, they weren't that diligent. And her family had been well known in the area. They were old money, and you know, they bought a lot of favors around town. So, you know, they're not going to go suspecting the daughter who's only trying to weed through all these antiques in the house. You know, and she felt had the men come because they were always very big, heavy pieces. She didn't really like killing women, but if they brought their wives or something, then she did it. But it was mostly the men. She would say, you need like 2 people. This is how heavy, and then she'd always have the rugs out. And if she staged it right, and she did a lot of the time, she could get them to stand on the rug when she hit them with the object. A lot of times she would have them look at the rug to see if there was any interest. So she'd have it rolled out, and she'd say, oh, step on this. Feel, you know, do you have any interest in this rug? I need to get rid of some of these rugs. Then she could hit them over the head. They'd fall on the rug, and she could just get rid of the evidence. And she did it really fast. Now, her father had a bunch of sheds and stuff, and he also had a forklift, which came in handy. Most of the people brought a pickup truck. She had a forklift. She would be able to pick up the rugs with the people and put them in. And she was doing well for a long time. But yeah, easy cleanup. So, well, they weren't buying rugs, Tammy. She kind of tried to tell them to stand on the rug, feel it. You'll never feel this. I'll give this to you. And she told them she'd give it to them for a song. So, like, how could they pass it up? These big, expensive carpets. And she's saying that she just has to get rid of them. And I remember she was buying these carpets like crazy. So in this shed, she had them just lined up. So they saw this, they were like, wow, you have a lot of carpets. Yes. She was going to auctions and buying this stuff. And the problem for her was, you know, the technology. Because they would say, well, their phone pinged, you know, in this location. And she had an answer for that. You know, she was like, yeah, you know, the guy came out and he said, I'll give you a check. Can I pay you next week? You know, so she'd say something like that. I don't know where the heck they went after that. You know, and she'd say things like, I think they're trying to swindle me. They're probably on drugs. And these investigators with the police believed her because, come on, she was from this very well-known family and a totally unassuming woman who was offering them tea and cookies. So they didn't think she did anything. There's a chipmunk. And she lived out, like I tell you, out in the middle of nowhere, very long driveway. It was a gated driveway. But here's the other thing she did. Since she had such a long driveway, it was a gated driveway. Okay? So what happened was, she would tell them, she was kind of like that guy, what's his name? Chuck from Better Call Saul, about the EFTs. So she would tell them ahead of time, look, I'm really paranoid about that stuff. Now you're going to say, but weren't they texting her? Yeah, they were. But she claimed she had her phone in this kind of box that she told them she had invented something and she was able to text on it while it was still in this box that inhibited the electromagnetic fields and all that. So what she would do is she would say, I'm going to ask you at the gate, if you have your cell phone turned off, please put it in the box, and there'd be a box. So their phone would never get up to her house. It would only ping in the vicinity of the street. Okay? So their GPS never came up towards her or anything. They turned the phone off. It was off. So that was helping her out because nobody had their GPS going up her road, which was like a private road. It was more than just a driveway. It was like her own private road. So they never really had them up there, only on the road that led up to that. So she thought she was doing really good. She had all this covered, their cell phones. She had the easy cleanup. And she also had a bunch of land that went with this house. And on that land, right there, she had a bunch of ponds and things. Sometimes she would take a person and put them in there. She had a lot of barns on the property. Sometimes she would hide a truck in there. They never looked because they never suspected her. Okay, they never even went out in the sheds and looked because she would say, well, look at their phone. They weren't up on this road, and they weren't. So, yeah, that was it. And she was getting away with that for years. And not one person suspected her because it's like, she's just, the people that worked with her knew she was a little off kilter, but she didn't work locally, okay? She actually came back to stay when her parents passed away. She had been in another state. And so no one local knew anything about her since she graduated high school. And by then, her parents had kept everything quiet, and they always covered up for her when she was in high school. So no one really knew anything. And that continued for some time. But there's always got to be a mistake. And that was when this guy named Ned told her that he turned off his phone. And she watched him. She had cameras. She watched him put it in the box. And he was by himself. And she thought, okay. And then right before she hit him on the head, was going to hit him on the head, she was sneaking up behind him while he was in the rug, his phone goes off. Well, she literally loses her crap, okay? Because Ned's phone is freaking going off. Now she's like, I can't kill this guy. So she had to let that guy get the thing and let him leave. But she realized how close she came, because if she would have hit him on the head and then found the phone, that would have been it. So that scared her. And she had to think about what to do. It really scared her about what she could do. So she stopped doing that for a while. She legitimately sold some things to get money, legitimately. And she thought, well, it'll be good if I do have some sales and I do have, people that I can use for references that bought something from me, because then, it'll look better. So she continued to make some legitimate sales, but then she realized, wait a minute, I have to go back to doing what I was doing because I'm getting more money, because I'm keeping the item that I can sell again. I'm also getting the cash that they have, any jewelry. She would sometimes take parts out of the cars. If they were driving something that was newer, she would sometimes take the headlights out and wait for a while before she sold those, and just different parts before she, got rid of the cars. Sometimes she burned the cars. But, it was getting harder, and there were more cameras around, but where she lived, it was very rural, and she was very careful. She looked for cameras. So, yeah, that was what she's doing until you get caught. And that's going to be another story, because that's way too much to go into now. And I'm going to go up to the house, so I'll have to finish that. But it's a bunch of people that ended up catching her. But that was her thing. And when she was very new, she used to bury the bottoms in this root cellar that she had a dirt floor. She buried them there. There's a few people buried in the root cellar. And yeah, and then there was an old abandoned well on the property. There's a few people there. But of course, I just summarized it. There's all details to every murder on who the people were and exactly what happened to them and what happened in the aftermath of the family trying to figure out what happened to them. But that's all I can tell you right now, because I need to go. All right, so I will see you guys later. Take it easy. Bye, love you. Take it easy. Be good.